As you can see live now here on the screen, the World Center of Racing. The one place where the top level of North American racing begins every single year at the Daytona International Speedway. And that's where it's all going to begin here for Season 5 of the Canadian Motorsports Network NASCAR Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue. Good evening, folks, and welcome aboard another live production of Canadian eMotorsports Network Action. We're here at the Daytona International Speedway to get underway with, I guess you could call it Daytona Speed Weeks, quote-unquote. It's a 2-week run here all the way up until the 2024 5th annual GTR 250 at Daytona International Speedway. And tonight we have 2 events going on relating to qualifying for the 250, where we're starting off with just regular single car qualifying, where every single car is going to take on a couple laps, and the top 2 will lock up the front row for the prestigious season opener on Tuesday, March 19th. And then after this, we will get straight into the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue Daytona Duels, 2 30-lap races, where that will decide the rest of the starting lineup for the 250. On the call here tonight, of course, once again, Regan McCauley, your main play-by-play guy and broadcaster from Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. At the moment, we do not have Jordy Caraher, my color commentator, who's been here since the very beginning just yet. Hopefully, he'll be able to tune in when we get to the duels later on here tonight. So it looks like it might just be me for the time being as we go through single car qualifying, just waiting for everyone to get in. Then we will officially get underway with all this. So might as well show this off right here. This is going to be the lineup for single car qualifying. So Jose Mercado in the number 41 is going to start us off here at Daytona. We'll go all the way down to Jason Heaney at 22nd. And so once again, just to clear up the rules, single car qualifying, where every car is going to get one time lap. That's all they're going to get. And as soon as every car completes their lap, the first and second positions will lock up the front row for the GTR 250. And even though their positions are locked, they still must participate in the Daytona duels. And qualifying will, the single car qualifying will determine both the front row for the 250, plus also is going to determine the lineups for both of the 30-lap duel races that we're going to have here tonight. So basically about half and half of the lineup you see on the screen right here. So the odd position drivers will start in Duel 1, and the even position drivers will start in Duel 2. And the finishing results for Duel 1 will determine the inside row for the 250, while Duel 2 is going to determine the outside row. And also, a little bit of an extra perk that we're going to have with the duels is that they are going to matter when it comes to the regular season. Yes, we don't officially reward big points until we get to the 250 and every week onward, next week onward, but there are season points that are going to be on the line in the duels tonight, which will certainly make things interesting when we get to championship talks, where if you win your duel race, you're going to get 5 points that will count towards the championship points in the regular season. So first through fifth is going to get 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 point respectively. Sixth and onward, no points. So if you finish in the top 5 in your duel, you're going to get points that will matter towards your run for the 5th annual Earl Ross Cup. So again, if you end up winning a duel race, that could be a huge factor in that run that you make later on in the season. And we're going to have to remember that as the season goes on as well. That's going to be key because again, it could be when we get to deciding the championship 4, it could be a matter of just a couple points, even towards the regular season finale, a driver that tries to maybe squeak their way into the playoffs, depending on how many winners we get before we get to the regular season finale. There's all kinds of different scenarios that could very much happen throughout the season here. And it all begins here tonight when we are technically awarding points, but not fully, until next week with the 250, of course. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Looks like we have about 14 drivers that have entered in so far here to the server at Daytona International Speedway. Look at the weather info tab. It's a mostly cloudy day here at Daytona. 27 degrees air temperature, 37 degrees temperature. There is a lot of cloud cover, but the clouds are slowly going to drift away and that sun's going to start coming out more. So it's pretty much going to be the grip here is not going to be very favorable towards the drivers, especially potentially when we get to more the second half of the lineup here for single car qualifying. Some cars, with the extra rubber added onto the track and the sun coming out more, clouds starting to separate out. It could certainly make things interesting for some of the later on cars that will qualify for the duels. And again, 2 of them for the front row for the 250. Humidity at just over 34%. Wind speed only 5 kilometers an hour. Wind direction southeast. And if I use my brain properly to think of how Daytona looks on a map, I think that would mean, I don't know, turns 1 and 2, cars are going to go faster the whole way. I have no idea. That's why I like to have Jordy as kind of that extra weather expert in there, kind of like a Larry McReynolds. But again, I'm not going to have him for some time by the looks of it. But again, mostly cloudy skies here at Daytona, so it's pretty beautiful, but it's going to be slick. And that track temperature just increased by about 2 degrees Celsius, I believe. And, now I think I can hear him. Do we got a copy from you, Jordy? Okay, I had to unmute myself in the software. Do you hear me now?
Yeah.
Well, Jordy, welcome to Daytona International Speedway for some qualifying events here tonight, beginning with the single car qualifying, as I mentioned, where again, 1 lap per car, and then the top 2 determines the front row for the 250 next Tuesday, and then the rest of the positions are going to decide the lineups for both of the dual races. And then when we get to the finishing results for the duels, there's going to be some points that are going to be rewarded, including 5 points, season points, championship points being awarded to the winner, plus also through the top 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, respectively. So, yes, they may only be dual races. They may only, again, determine the starting lineup for the 250, but there are some little points there that could very well determine the outcome of certain situations later on in the season. And I guess I might as well just do it right here. Yeah, there we go. Now you can talk.
Yeah. I mean, that's my main message. I'll just let Bubba J speak for me here.
Or not, actually. I just realized. Hang on. Yeah, we got a qualifying going on, so you go ahead and keep talking.
No, I was trying to make a joke, but what's no joke here is the 1 lap pace that Jose Mercado has shown in past seasons. Now, last season, he admitted, again, was a little bit of a struggle for him, but yeah, he's bound and determined to get back to where he was in the first 3 seasons, and yeah, we'll see what he's got here as our opener for tonight's qualifying session.
And so, yes, the number 41 GTR Ford from Kissimmee, Florida, the home state here in his 5th season of racing within the NASCAR Series, as he's going to put in a time. 49.126 is the first lap that we're going to get here at Daytona International Speedway.
Yeah, and I'm glad that it's only 1 lap that I'm kind of looking at here instead of the 4 from last year's Indy 250. Nice little change in the format. I mean, the real-time math was cool and all, but 1 shot, not to get all M&M, but it's great.
Indeed, and now based on the lineup for single car qualifying, Mason Tomlinson and Tom Janikowski are both not here, so going up next is going to be the number 17 Chevrolet Corbin McCauley, another 5th-year driver here, driving for Bolger Motorsports and Kawasaki, I believe it is.
Yes, that would be right now that I've gotten a look at the car itself. Yes, absolutely, Kawasaki.
Yeah. And this kind of be, and also Holland College on there as well, Corbin being a student there too. This will be, again, kind of the colors and, some of the sponsors that people will be seeing over at Oysterbed Speedway when he goes racing there this summer for the 2024 local racing season, obviously. The number 17 from Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, coming into the season again after, what was it, like 8-9 wins or something like that. Pretty much dominated during season 4, made it all the way to championship 4, and then, as most of us know, a mistake in that finale ended up putting him 4th in the points instead, so obviously not ideal, but again, that's going to only fuel him more to finally come into a new season and hopefully break the curse.
Yeah, it seemed like the opportunity was right there for him last year, didn't it? Like, pretty much, Justin Belmonte obviously stole the show with the first 2 wins of the season, but ultimately McCauley settled in and became the sort of dominant force that everybody was chasing after. But as you say, right up in, at the end is where it kind of all unraveled for him as he's shot up to the top of the board.
Indeed, so just about under a tenth there or so over Mercado, so a 49.078 will be his 1 lap time, so obviously that puts him into first, but I don't know if I would say by a whole lot per se.
No, half a tenth, that really isn't that much. And honestly, Daytona, I think somebody made the comment that it could even just be one false move that sort of determines how far up the grid you go. Even if it's just a subtle little twitch, doesn't take much for your lap time to sort of go sideways here. And obviously nobody to draft off of. It's all on you once you're on the track.
And the other thing is, too, you'll be seeing a lot of these drivers take advantage of that high line on the outlap, because that's where you get the that fastest speed, coming off of turn 4, going onto the lap. That high line's always the fastest. Every driver's got to take advantage of that through single car qualifying here, as we got the number 97 of the Tornado Alley E-Racing Toyota from Asheville, North Carolina. I said Kansas last week. Again, memory got foggy there again from his move. But this is Ty Higginbottom, the 2022 NASCAR Series champion, who got 4 wins that season. Details here. His 4th season in NASCAR, last NASCAR Heat 5 champion, if we all want to remember that era. Nobody does. But in the 2023 points, finished 6th. He won here at Daytona in the regular season finale in what was a wild melee, as per usual. And, not too bad of a season, not too bad of a transition over to iRacing. But for a guy like him with his resume here within the NASCAR series, especially from the console days, you can only imagine he wants more.
Yeah, well, once you get that taste of winning, absolutely. There's no going back from that. And he's proven to be a capable driver no matter what car you throw him in, pretty much. Whether it was kind of on the open wheel side, he was able to adapt quickly to that. Obviously NASCAR is kind of his bread and butter, but as I say, once you get that taste for winning, you don't want to go back. And where's he ending up here?
That's going to put him in 3rd.
Back a little further than perhaps he would have liked, but again, that gap isn't massive.
So it'll be 62 hundredths behind McCauley, but a 126 versus a 140 between him and Mercado. So yeah, so far this qualifying has been pretty close.
Yeah, and again, it's a track where you're pretty much on your own, so to speak, in terms of generating that pace. So just kind of figuring out what works best for you. And yeah, I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of deviation through the field.
And now up next here we have our first rookie going at it, the number 00 Toyota of Jordan Kalanian. Won the Atlanta Clash last week in dramatic fashion, but at the same time, he, again, you gotta be in the right, quote unquote, in the right position at the right time, and that's exactly what happened since C.D. Magram and Hunter Young got together in a conflict coming into turn 3, and Kalanian was on the complete other side of the track leading another pack because of the way the late green flag pit window had shaped everything. But yeah, he was the one to come across the line in first, got the job done, quite the start for him. And again, he said super speedways are not exactly his best discipline in terms of ovals, different kinds of circuits and such, but so far so good on the big tracks with the the drafting tracks.
Sorry, you briefly cut out there for a second. I heard the part about him saying super speedways weren't necessarily the forte, but hey, you still got to be in it to win it. He was living proof of that, as you mentioned, at our preseason test, exhibition, whatever you want to call it, race last week.
Indeed. So, I mean, that's going to be all the momentum in the world for him heading into the season opener next week, the 5th annual GTR 250 at Daytona. So we're going to see what he'll be able to put up right here. Oh, to the top of the board by 2 thousandths.
Wait, what was he saying about...
So it looks like some technical difficulties there for Jordy, but it wouldn't surprise me if he was referring to me talking about Super Speedway. Yeah, to him talking about Super Speedways not being exactly his best discipline, but he's really making his presence known here on the bigger tracks again. Atlanta Clash win back in Atlanta, now here at Daytona. He's looking to lock up a spot on the front row. Again, 2 thousandths of a second ahead of McCauley. He's really making a name for himself so far. And that's going to get us to another rookie here in the number 21 Toyota of Adam Wilson from Laurel, Delaware, driving for Tornado Alley E-Racing. In his first year in the Canadian Motorsports Network NASCAR Series powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue. He's got a number 21 Johnny Walker scheme on by the looks of it, and then something labeled that I couldn't read. If I recall correctly, Wilson qualified second in last week's Atlanta Clash. Unfortunately, I believe he had some connection issues, which is why he finished last. Obviously not ideal, but we'll see here if Adam Wilson's able to qualify again up front on one of the drafting tracks. Maybe join Kalinian up there, maybe making an all-rookie front row. As he comes through turns 3 and 4. We'll see how much closer some of these lap times will get here in qualifying. Again, first and second separate by only 2 thousandths. And then not many hundredths there for third. And Wilson, 1,000th of a second behind McCauley. So the top 3 are only separated there by 3 thousandths. Holy smoly. So yeah, Jordy's going through some internet problems here. Death, taxes, and internet problems is the way he puts it. 3 guarantees. So hopefully he'll be able to get back in soon. I even was wondering if I had to wait for him until the duels, but fingers crossed he'll be able to make it through those consistently. And so next up here we have a guy that has become familiar within the network since the previous season of DART, or as we can now legally say, the IndyCar Series last year. It's the number 32 Chevrolet of Charlie Sears from Charlottesville, Virginia. He's in his first season of NASCAR racing. He's, again, coming over from an incredibly successful rookie campaign, quite possibly the best that we've ever seen here within the Canadian Motorsports network, where he won the Season 2 IndyCar Championship with 6 wins and 13 starts, and he also claimed 6 poles. So he'll be a little bit of a mystery here within the NASCAR series, but he looked pretty fast and was learning pretty quickly back at last week's Atlanta Clash. Great personality. We also we shared a post online of an interview that he did with a iRacing YouTuber and educator, which has like tens of thousands of views right now, because Sears, again, participates in the Grand Prix Tarnite Racing Series something, some pro road series, something like that, where he's got like the lowest like pro iRating ever, something like that. Great to have, again, the only driver in Canadian Motorsports Network history so far to be a professional iRacer. As he's going to put down a 49.146. That'll put him in the 6th and final spot, at least so far. So 6 thousandths off of Ty Higginbottom. 70 hundredths off the leader. Okay, it was racing. Just had to make sure something there. And now we get to another rookie here. Once again, as Steve Escoffier is not here. That's another driver that's unable to attend tonight's event. So we have the number 33 Toyota of Trevor Binns, who I haven't been able to get full information on him just yet, but yet again, another rookie here within the series. He were just recently registered. So great to add on some more news there. So again, for some of these guys that have been recent registrants of for Season 5 of the NASCAR Series, we'll still have to get some information on them as we go. But it looks like Binns has got a Mobile 1 scheme going. Partially colorblind, so looking like about yellow and black there. Something like that. That's not going to look absolutely great, but track temperature kind of just swinging in the late 30s. Looks like the sun might be slightly coming out a little more. Again, this track's going to lose the grip as more and more rubber builds up and the sun starts to come out a little more. The clouds start to separate as qualifying goes on, so that'll make it more interesting for the later drivers. But again, you never know. So Binns is going to come around and he will get a 49.094. That's going to put him in the 4th position out of 7 runners so far. So at the moment we have a top 5 where 3 of them are rookies. The current quote-unquote podium has 2 of them. And so that gets us a move on to the number 6 Ford of Justin Belmonte, a sophomore here within the NASCAR Series. Driving for Warrior Racing from Patchogue, New York. That's how you say it. But Belmonte comes in with 3 career wins from his rookie season last year. Known to be an aggressive driver, but he's also very fast on the drafting tracks. I mean, he was the 4th annual GTR 250 champion, so he'll be looking to go back-to-back. Maybe try to turn into a bit of a Denny Hamlin or something like that here within the Canadian Motorsports Network NASCAR Series. I mean, again, Hamlin did that back in 2019 and 2020, so maybe Belmonte will become something like that. So at the moment, Kalinian and McCauley look like they have the front row locked up for the 250 thus far, but we still have about 11 cars or so, I think I counted there, left to go. If everything were to stay where it is right now, then that would mean drivers like Wilson, Mercado, and Sears would be in Duel 1. Binns, Higginbottom would be in Duel 2. Or how does it work here? Yeah, it's odd than even. Okay, yeah. Belmonte is going to put up a 49.041. That easily puts him in the top spot. So the defending GTR 250 champion. Getting hot here early on in Season 5. I believe Belmonte, 11, 12, 13. Belmonte finished 13th out of 18 cars in the Atlanta Clash last week. Was involved in an incident, unfortunately. And thus that'll get us to another rookie here in the number 80 of Mark Ouellette. Yet again, another driver coming over from the IndyCar Series from last year. Ouellette driving the number 80 Koopas Racing Chevrolet from Georgina, Ontario. First season within the NASCAR Series. He finished 13th in the 2023 IndyCar points. Had 4 top 10s, a lot of bad luck, more of a oval guy, although that, again, the ovals back in IndyCar, like at Iowa and Pocono, he showed lots of speed there, and even on some of the road courses, he had some flashes of brilliance every now and then. But there's a lot of potential for someone like him to have an explosive rookie season here within the NASCAR Series, again, with guys like, Jordan Kalinian winning the Atlanta Clash, and then you got Alan Wilson, Trevor Bin showing speed here and qualifying so far, and then you got someone like Ouellette who comes in with, again, a little oval experience within the network, but again, those were in open wheel cars. And Daller IRL ones. And these are NASCAR Next Gens, so it's going to be a little bit of a mystery, especially with someone like him. He's got Lil Res Q on the car there, Animal Sanctuary Shelter stuff, that's what he's involved in. Helping out animals. Always love that sort of stuff out of people. So we'll see what Ouellette's going to get as we come down to the line. The 7th place finisher in the Atlanta Clash is going to put himself in the 5th position, about 1,000th of a second over Bins. So out of 9 cars, that puts him right in the middle in 5th. So right now, that would put him into Duel 1 alongside Corbin McCauley, but we still have plenty of cars remaining here. And so next up, we have the number 16 Chevrolet of Ryan O'Toole, yet again another rookie for the NASCAR Series. O'Toole, the number 16 Chevrolet from Portland, Oregon. O'Toole finished 10th in last week's Atlanta Clash. And so next up, we have the number 16 Chevrolet of Ryan O'Toole, yet again another rookie for the NASCAR. Looks like Jordy has come back here onto the call. For a split second there, you gave me a heart attack because I could hear my voice coming through your mic.
Is that not the best thing, though?
Absolutely not.
Oh, come on now. But no, that was me watching the YouTube stream, as any faithful broadcaster would do, to make sure he's still informed on what's going on. Okay, we're still delayed here clearly because
I could still hear my phone. Yeah. I could still hear my voice.
All right, now it's turned all the way down, so we should be good.
All right. So while you were gone here, Belmonte put himself in the top spot. Wilson 4th, Ouellette's 5th, Trevor Bin 6th, Jose Mercado and Ty Higginbottom 7th through 8th, Charlie Sears 9th, Ryan O'Toole puts himself 7th.
Okay, so yeah, lots of variety still within the fields, and I mean, maybe not a shock right now to see last year's GTR 250 champion at the top of the boards right now, but as you alluded to a little bit earlier, still, just past the halfway point of qualifying here. So still a few guys who can make moves.
Now we move on to the number 77 Ford of Hunter Young from St. Catharines, Ontario. Young coming into the season as another Super Speedway winner from 2023 at Talladega, where he won his way into the playoffs. Young is in his 4th season of NASCAR racing. Kind of that guy, he's a veteran. He's been here for quite some time. Hasn't had the most success ever, but he's proven to be an underdog, and he can be fast on the big tracks as well. I mean, we got that proof back at Talladega last year, and he was fast at Daytona as well. And Young finished 9th in the Atlanta Clash last week. So, again, this guy just likes to preach consistency and maintaining a clean car, but again, the guy is just really... He is overdue for a... Young's overdue for an explosive season at some point.
Yeah, I'll just jump in now that I'm back. The caveat with the first 2 seasons, he joined midway through, so that's why the results are a little bit skewed in the direction that they are. I believe he joined roughly race 8 or 9, somewhere in that ballpark in those first 2 seasons. So season 4 was really his first full start to finish season within the network. And I mean, obviously you saw the potential of what he was able to do.
So 1 top 5, 9 top 10s. He finished 14th in points. And now he's going to come to the line here. Not looking great. 49.129. That puts him in 9th out of 11 cars. So he'll hope to have an improved result for his respective dual race, which right now would be based on being in an odd number. That would put him in dual 1. And now that's going to get us to the number 1 Toyota of C.D. Magram. He's been in the series now for 2 seasons, driving for the GTR from Atlanta, Georgia. Where, yes, those that tuned into last week's Atlanta Clash, it looked like it was going to be a hometown victory, but that's certainly what did not happen, and he's qualifying after the guy that he tangled with, so go figure there.
Rigged. Don't like that in Georgia, right? Rigged?
Yeah, sure. So his rookie season was the final year of the NASCAR Heat 5 era, where he got 3 wins, including 1 at Talladega. And he got 1 win again at Talladega last year. Finished 4th in points in IndyCar last year as well. So guy's got a lot of momentum coming forward, and I would say just pretty much this season just kind of build upon... it was only 1 win last year, but he was very, very fast. A very good transition over to iRacing from NASCAR Heat 5. He's been known to be aggressive as well, a good personality. He's very much due to be a championship contender for Season 5.
Absolutely, and the other ace that he's kind of got in his back pocket, he's back with Tornado Alley Racing this year. So he and Ty Higginbotham again. That's, ultimately helped him in Season 3, his debut.
And Jordy's internet issue's still happening, and he just said Tornado Alley, not GTR, so... I have to get a clarification on that. Is Magram's going to come to the line? Oh, that's going to put him in the 2nd position there, in between Belmonte and Kalinian. 49 points.
I was going to say, not a giant surprise given his prowess on the super speedways.
Yeah. He's on Tornado Alley, you said? Not GTR anymore?
He just sent me a Facebook chat during this qualifying session, yes.
Interesting to know. So that's going to put him with Adam Wilson as well. That could be... Whew.
And again, Higgy's still there too.
That could be a team to be reckoned with.
Well, they were in Season 3 when Mangrum, under the Jameson moniker, was there. at that
Yes.
point. The three-headed monster with Jonathan Peden as part of that configuration as well.
And now we move on to another bit of a three-horse team here with one of those guys, the number 64 Chevrolet of Darcy Ford, driving the Piping Kettle Soup Co. car from Harrington, Prince Edward Island. Everyone that's been here since the very beginning of the network knows him, obviously. 5th season in the NASCAR Series, 3-time Formula One champion. He won the Indy 250 last year. Again, another win in dramatic fashion. A one in off the final corner when Dylan Baum and Andy Hurdle got together. Within the network, combined between all three disciplines, he's got 18 wins. He's only one of 2 NASCAR champions currently running within the series. 10 career wins in NASCAR. Struggled in his transition to iRacing. Only 2 top 5s, 12 top 10s. Again, that's not too bad. But and then 9th in the 2023 IndyCar points. So, again, a bit of a struggle in the transition, but he had many flashes of potential. And going back to the Atlanta Clash here as well, if I find his result, it was the 8th position. So, honestly, anything's possible with this guy.
Yeah, I think he's a bit of an X factor this year now that he's more comfortable on the iRacing platform, as we see where he checks in.
On top.
What did I just say about him being more comfortable? There's some speed. Former, it wasn't GTR at that point, but Daytona season opener winner in season 2, and that was the catalyst for his championship run 3 years back.
So how about that for the season 2 Daytona season opener winner right there with a 49.029? I believe, if my math is correct, that's 12 hundredths.
Yeah, looks right to me.
That would be a hell of a start after all the chaos that he went through last year.
And I mean, seeing how tight that field is in certain places, to have well, I guess technically be 12,000, 100, but you get the points. Like, that's not an insignificant gap at the top of the board, just as it wasn't when Belmonte took the top of the charts.
Moving on now to another NASCAR sophomore that made their debut last year, the number 15 Toyota of Kyle Knoll, Storm Surge eSports Toyota from Raleigh, North Carolina. Another guy who came close a couple of times to a potential win last year. Very fast, very aggressive. He and Dylan Baum kind of shared similar characteristics. They kind of had their own little group going at it in terms of performance similarity and driving style similarity. But one thing I'm going to say about this guy, Kyle Knoll is due for a win this year. I expect at least a win.
I think that's a fair statement, honestly. I mean, he's a guy who's proven to be, adventurous. He's willing to take a chance on the track. We saw multiple kind of variations on pit lane strategies to get himself a few more positions last year. He's not afraid to do something a little different, and we'll see how it shakes out on this quali lap here.
Will he beat Ford? No, he won't. That'll put him in the 7th position at a 14 car, so right the halfway. So Darcy Ford is still going to lead the way here in qualifying with 5 cars remaining. And so at the moment, front row for the 250 looking like Darcy Ford and Justin Belmonte, a pair of 6s, plus you add the 4 for Ford. Haha.
Driving a Chevy, yes.
Yeah, go figure. And yeah, quite frankly, last year, that's the other thing too. He transitioned to driving a Chevrolet.
Yeah, I mean, new game, new model, why not?
And now we move on to another veteran here in the number 7 Chevrolet of Andy Hurdle, 519E Racing from Daytona, Ohio. Information on him, 4th season in NASCAR. He has not won a race yet, but he has damn well came close a couple of times. Could be due for a spark this season, coming out of 2023 IndyCar season with a 5th place points finish. So again, especially with the 2024 schedule having more short tracks and road courses on it, and knowing this guy being more of an open wheel road course ace sort of guy, a road course, all those road courses could play a huge advantage for a guy like him to win his way into the playoffs and not, have to have any stress or anything going down the line there. But then also, too, when it comes to playoff time, if Hurdle does make it, I imagine he will, Watkins Glen and the Chicago Street Course are both in the playoffs. If he can do well with the next gen on road courses this season, those 2 tracks in the playoffs right there, we have to keep an eye on.
We do. Obviously, the path is a lot harder this year. Have we mentioned the fact that it's a condensed playoff field?
Indeed, yeah. Not 16 drivers. It's going to be 12 instead, considering the number that we have. We want to kind of make it more of a half and half, like half the field makes it in, half doesn't. And there's no way that Andy Hurdle just put himself on the top spot. I was going to say, not only the road courses, he's actually improved his speed a ton on the big tracks as well.
And the funny thing is, he'll be the first to downplay all of this, too. He's one of the most self-deprecating guys I've ever met, and coming from me, that's saying something. But, yeah, I mean, great drive there from the Gem City product.
And yeah, again, at the Atlantic Clash, you only finished 16th, so that's a hell of an improvement right there. Imagine Andy Hurdle, Darcy Ford on the front row for the 250. That would be a storyline.
It would, but the next guy up, you want to talk about one-lap pace. This is the guy who's got it in spades.
Absolutely. The number 12 Toyota of Mike Marini, his 5th season in NASCAR. If I pull off the information, Toyota driver from Thunder Bay, Ontario. Another 5th-year driver. He won one race in 2020, one in 2021, both on road courses. So again, another road course ace. Finished 7th in points in IndyCar last year. Again, more of a road course ace. Could be very similar to Andy Hurdle, but he's another guy that's been very fast on the big tracks. He won the Clash last season. Maybe a little bit controversially, but we'll move on from that. But yeah, you were talking about that one-lap average thing. Yeah, he's got quite the prowess there.
He always has. And yeah, you mentioned the 2 road course wins, both at the same track, as a matter of fact, Canadian Tire, each of the first 2 seasons. But yeah, he's a guy who can certainly hang around, doesn't mind getting his elbows out on the track. And, he's a guy that you kind of look at if he's toward the head of the field near the end of a race. And yeah, as I say, he's not afraid to stick his nose in there and, push as hard as he can. And we'll see what kind of push he ends up at the end of this lap.
At the line. Oh man, 0.003 of a second behind Hurdle. That's going to put him on the front row beside Andy Hurdle. Not enough for the top spot. But wow.
Guarantees himself a top 5 start out of this. And now the funny thing is, if you want to talk about guys winning pole at Daytona, this guy's the only one who's done it multiple times, this next driver coming up. Night races, yes, but still did it.
That'd be the number 10 Chevrolet of Jason Butler in his 5th season in NASCAR, driving for 519E Racing. Chevrolet driver from London, Ontario. Butler, another guy like Andy Hurdle who just, again, so much experience, yet still has not been able to achieve a win just yet. Another kind of mid-pack sort of underdog, average veteran, quote-unquote. He has been on iRacing for quite some time. Another guy who is a little bit more of an open wheel road course. There's kind of like a whole group of guys where they're veterans, but they're more so mid-pack underdogs when it comes to the stock car side. But then in open wheel, anything's possible with them. They will contend. They may even win, but they're also proven to be really fast on the drafting tracks. And Butler's one of those guys that again, we look back at, like, for example, Daytona and Talladega last year. Butler was contending at both of those tracks during all of those races, but there was always something that happened against him. And I even remember, too, at Las Vegas where he led a bunch of laps, but, of course, that came under, that consequence of that was extremely poor tire wear, but regardless, he was able to lead laps, so...
Yeah, I mean, the speed was there, the strategy, yeah, maybe didn't.
Or it might have been
quite
Kansas.
match.
It was either Vegas or Kansas, but go on.
Yeah, Kansas sounds right now that you mention it. But yeah, the strategy didn't necessarily match the speed in that case. But sometimes, like, if you know the speed's there, that just breeds confidence. Let's see what he's got at the line.
Fourth with a 49.034. That top 4 or 5, you can even say nobody's separated by a massive margin.
I mean, you could throw a blanket over pretty much the entire field, honestly.
And so out of 17 cars, that puts him in the 4th spot. So unless Heaney or Janikowski, or even both guys, are able to get up there into the top 4, Butler looks like he's going to be guaranteed a spot in Duel 2. But right now, Andy Hurdle and Mike Marini are looking pretty good, unless either a rookie in Jason Heaney or yet again another underdog veteran in Tom Janikowski is able to surprise us all.
Yeah, and I mean, who knows where Heaney's going to be slotting in. The second one, Jason's I was thinking of a little bit earlier. And yeah, the fact that you can separate the field by a little over 1/10 of a second, 1 through 17 right now. Whew.
So Heaney, number 9, Toyota from Altoona, Wisconsin. Yet again, another rookie. I believe he finished 2nd in the Atlanta Clash last week. Right behind Jordan Kalinian.
Yeah, he had qualified, I believe, 4th or 5th last week as well. So a guy who made an immediate impression. And we'll see how that carries over into the first night that quote-unquote matters.
Indeed, only 2 cars remaining. Hurdle and Marini could more than likely be comfortable, but I would say with Heaney especially, I wouldn't get too comfortable just yet. Again, Heaney showed a lot of speed back at Atlanta last week, but with Daytona being a much bigger and longer track, we'll have to wait and see on how that's gonna play out. If I look at the weather info tab quickly, that track has definitely gotten a lot slicker. And the sun's come out a lot more, so that could play a factor here. But again, we've seen some of these later guys qualify up front, so maybe it doesn't matter whatsoever. Heaney will... think that'd be 6th. Indeed it will be.
So that locks in a front row spot for Andy Hurdle for the Duels.
So Andy Hurdle will lock a spot in the Duels, but in terms of the GTR 250 poll, we still have one more driver left to decide it all. And we don't know if he's going to pop in just yet or not.
I was going to say, am I behind here? I saw a congrats message pop up on my screen.
Unless Janikowski's not able to.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, because originally, yeah, we had him slotted in 3rd. And did it just go official, or did you change that?
Well, I'm not seeing Janikowski pop up, and yeah, we both saw a congrats message, so I think it might be safe to say we have ourselves the 5th annual GTR 250 pole winner.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great run from Andy Hurdle, and, you know, we've been talking about him continuing his progression. This is just another step, and again, the confidence coming off of that off-season cup victory as well. You know, he's in on form right now, I think.
And so, based on the results here, this means, yes, every driver still has to participate in the Duels, but the front row for the 250 has been officially locked up. The number 7 of Andy Hurdle and the number 12 of Mike Marini. will be your front row for the 2024 5th annual GTR 250 at Daytona International Speedway next week.
And again, just look at how close that field is, like 1 through 10, yes, but once you get all the way down to 18, again, it's no more than a tenth and a half separating one from bottom. So, like, nothing is guaranteed here. So I'm looking forward to seeing how these guys actually race with one another.
So based on the numbers here, which actually are pretty accurate this time, there's been times where it's been like 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and then it might say 7th and then 9th and yeah, whatever. But it looks like Duel 1 is going to be Andy Hurdle, Darcy Ford, Justin Belmonte, CD Magram, Corbin McCauley, and then if we increase it here, Kyle Knoll, Trevor Binns, Jose Mercado, and Ty Higginbottom. And then I think Tom Janikowski would go in there as well. That's going to be Duel 1. And then if we toggle it back here, Duel 2 is going to be Mike Marini, Jason Butler, Jason Heaney, Jordan Kalinian, Adam Wilson, Mark Ouellette, Ryan O'Toole, Hunter Young, and Charlie Sears.
I kind of love the variety in both fields here, quite honestly. Like, there isn't really a tier gap, which you wouldn't expect given the configuration of the duels. But again, the fact that the times were so close, like, nothing is guaranteed outside of course, Andy Hurdle's pole position.
And so, with all that being said, that was I guess we can call it the live production there for GTR 250 Daytona International Speedway qualifying right there, where we saw Andy Hurdle and Mike Marini lock up the front row for next week's race, the season opener for Season 5 of the eMotorsports Network NASCAR Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue. And so we're going to go on a bit of a break here, and we will be back so that we can change servers here and get straight into live coverage of the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue Daytona Duels, a pair of 30-lap races which will decide from 3rd onward. Again, Duel 1, inside line, and then Duel 2, the outside line. All in all, the rest of the starting lineup for the 5th annual GTR 250 next Tuesday on March 19th. So don't go away. Stay tuned. Regan McCauley and Jordy Kerr here on the call. We will be back. Hope you enjoyed single car qualifying there, but none of the action here tonight is over just yet. We got a pair of races to decide next week's starting lineup. Alrighty, folks, welcome back here to Daytona International Speedway for more qualifying action here tonight. We just completed single car qualifying about 10 to 15 minutes ago to decide both the front row for the 5th annual GTR 250 next week, where we saw the number 7 of Andy Hurdle and the number 12 of Mike Marini lock up the front row. And then the rest of the way from 3rd onward, we decided the starting lineups for the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue Daytona Duels, which... there we go. And so yes, a pair of 30-lap races here that will decide the rest of the starting lineup for the 5th annual GTR 250 with the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue Daytona Duels at Daytona International Speedway, where we got 10 cars that will go at it here in this first duel race, and then 9 more that will go at it in Duel 2, and yeah, they have gridded up here. So, Jordy, any quick words here before the engines get fired up?
I mean, these are going to be fun. We'll get through the fields here momentarily, especially this first duel. But, you know, this one you're going to see a lot of familiar names. But, yeah, I think, you know, given the nature of Daytona, again, given the nature of the qualifying that we just had, where the entire field was separated by just a little over a tenth, again, outside of the front row, like absolutely nothing's determined right now. So I think we're kind of in a situation where literally anything could happen. 30 laps, pretty much a sprint at this point. So no reason not to leave it all out there.
Engines are fired up. Pace car is going to lead them down the pit lane. I would imagine we're probably going green this time. And so for the starting lineup, we begin here with the number 7 Chevrolet of Andy Hurdle, who claimed the 5th annual GTR 250 pole about 15-20 minutes ago. And then alongside him on row 1 will be the number 64 Chevrolet of fellow veteran Darcy Ford. And then moving on now to row 2, where we have the sophomore number 6 Ford of Justin Belmonte, who won the GTR 250 last season. Alongside him, a fellow Super Speedway winner and a third-year driver in the NASCAR Series, it's the number 1 Toyota of C.D. Magram.
And moving on to row 3, we've got the number 17 Chevy of Corbin McCauley rounding out the top 5. In this first duel, he's got the number 15 Toyota of Kyle Knoll for company on the outside, starting 6th. And then we move on to row 4. Maybe. There it is. With a guy making his debut here tonight. He wasn't at the Atlanta Clash last week. The number 33 Toyota of Trevor Binns. And he's got a day 1 and, you know, the Florida native in the series. I believe the sole Florida guy now. The number 41 Ford of Jose Mercado.
And then in the final row here, row 5, we have the number 97 Toyota 2022 Series champion and the winner of the Daytona regular season finale last year. It is Ty Higginbottom for Tornado Alley E Racing. And alongside him, unable to qualify, but he'll make his first run here in the duel instead, the number 93 Chevrolet of Tom Janikowski. And so with all that being said, yes, the pace car is going to roll off immediately, and we're going to get underway here with the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue Daytona Duels. Duel number 1 is underway.
Yay, pop-ups.
I did not mean for that to happen.
Yay! Popping up. Look at that inside line really popping out of the gates here.
Already getting a train on the inside line. Again, I'd imagine for about the first half of this race, we're going to see everybody just kind of logging laps around just to get to the end of this one. Again, with only 10 cars in this one, then 9 cars in Duel 2. And even though I guess we were kind of late to the race analysis, which, yeah, there you go. If you can read that.
I can. Final stage, self-explanatory. That is, oh man, just absolutely. Jeez.
So yeah, the cars will only be able to get about maybe 20 to 21 laps of fuel until the end, and again, it's 30 laps in length. So we're going to get a fuel window, which will certainly make things interesting towards the end of this one, as already we have, actually, we were talking about single file, but now we have gotten a little bit of double file action going on here as Higginbottom Mercado go up to the high side, Noel with a aggressive move to the inside line, Andy Hurdle still leading the way, double file from second onward. Again, with this next-gen car on the super speedways, this package, if they go single file, they can get back to double file within about a lap or two.
Well, I mean, you just kind of saw it, honestly, because off the green flag, that inside line was about 6 or 7, maybe even 8 cars long, and yeah, now you see it's really evened out. But holy, the guy who started at the back row, Ty Higginbotham, he was briefly leading, now dropped down to third because that inside line has got a little bit of power through the turn, but that, I think, is going to be indicative of the kind of movement you're going to see throughout the field over the course of these duels.
Indeed, so now here on lap 4, Hurdle still leading the way. Belmonte moves his way up to, still in second there, Macaulay up to third. Higginbottom Mercado going at it in there for, I guess now Macaulay and Higginbottom are going at it. Mercado in behind the 97. 6 giving the 7 the push. Got 3 cars single file on the inside, now be 4 as they're going to be going to 5th.
Man, oh man, I thought it might have been, I couldn't quite tell who that was that did a little bit of a drop onto that inside line. I thought it was going to get a little hairy there for a second. Mittens might have been in on that, but I may have been seeing the cars incorrectly.
Apologies for a bit of a delay there, having a little bit of technical issues there, but we're going to go the rest of the way here and hopefully be able to figure some things out later on. But as we get back to the racing here, it's now lap 10 of 30 in Kyle's Fried Chicken Barbecue Daytona Duel number 1, where Ty Higginbottom now leads the way. Magram, Knoll, Binns, and McCauley rounding up the top 5 as, Hurdle's falling back. Justin Belmonte's fallen all the way back to 10th with now 20 laps to go.
Well, remember, Higginbottom started this duel 9th, and he's leading. So, again, there's a lot of movement and still, 20 laps to go. Thank you, Ticker. Still, lots to be decided here. Andy Hurdle can obviously be the most comfortable of the bunch in this particular duel, but the remaining 9 drivers, they've still got something to race for here. Quite literally jockeying for position.
Yeah, again, it was single file there for about a lap or so, and then immediately right back to the double file action as Andy Hurdle's trying to make his way back up to the front. Higginbottom's going to go for the block. That's going to leave an open room here for Magram to run down on the inside. No, never mind. Higginbottom's going to dive it back down low as they're getting a little bit close there towards the middle. Andy Hurdle getting loose up on the high side.
And he snuck his way up to 3rd, but again, that inside line seems to have the momentum, especially...
Oh, 3 wide.
Yikes. Yeah, Corbin McCauley trying to sneak in on that inside line. Yeah, single file, 1 through 5 is briefly anyway. Looks like it's starting to separate again.
How about this? We got the rookie Trevor Binns is now going to make the run for the race lead with the veteran Corbin McCauley right in behind him as they're both going to dive down to the inside. Binns really blocking the 17. Hurdle will try to make a run up on the high side.
Jeez, I didn't realize LMFAO were NASCAR fans. 3-lap they're shuffling. Sorry.
Nah, at this point, it's just not even surprising. Not a bad thing.
Yep.
So far, we've had 0 cautions, 13 laps under green, 4 lead changes, 3 different leaders. Darcy Ford with the fastest lap so far with a 45.424, 196.49 miles per hour. Weather's practically the same.
Yeah, only difference is we're under the lights.
Indeed, we were at daytime. Under qualifying is now everybody's going to come down the pit lane, or almost everybody, for this pit window.
This is early because I remember the graphic saying the window was 19 to 21. Some different strategies being deployed here. You got about half of the field, well, 6 out of 10 in right now. Andy Hurdle staying out, as is Darcy Ford. Well, leaderboard 1 through 4, that's who stayed out. I don't need to do anything hard here. Hey, penalty free.
McCauley comes out first with a 6.87. Seating Magram. Ty Higginbottom will follow through. Belmonte, Binns, Mercado. And now here come the rest of them. Andy Hurdle, Darcy Ford, Tom Janikowski, and Kyle Knoll will follow in. Knoll's going to have a really good stop here in order to catch up to these guys.
Yeah, that's the thing about Daytona. You absolutely do not want to be in no man's land, especially in a smaller field like this where, there's obviously more track for guys to run away and hide. If you're in no man's land, as I say, that makes it very difficult. But if there's a guy who's going to make it interesting, it's Kyle Knoll, but not quite out at the same time. There he goes.
So we may have a lot of work to do there. As it looks like everybody's probably going to get jumbled back up here as Andy Hurdle still leads the way. Oh, wow, the 17 actually has a major advantage over this other pack, but yeah, no, that pack's going to swallow him up and the rest of these cars here eventually. Yeah, look at that pack. 5 cars almost hooked up in a little train. Higginbottom almost looked like he was going to mesh right into the right rear of Magram, pushing him now with 15 laps to go as we're pretty much halfway through this first duel, which, yeah, again, I guess it made sense for a quote-unquote fuel window. I mean, as McCauley gets swallowed up, everyone being around the halfway point just kind of gets everything over with. As Wild Bins is going to squeeze it under Belmonte for what looks to be the 6th spot, or maybe the 5th one now. But Andy Hurdle's still going to lead the way as it looks like pretty much everybody is going to get back together except for Kyle Knoll and Janikowski, who are pretty much at this point just going to have to play the waiting game and see if anything's going to happen. The 17 might barely be in the draft, but at the moment it's looking like it's going to be a 4, 5, 6, 7 car race to the checkered flag.
Yeah, and it's strange how that kind of worked out in that it didn't really seem like it was better to pit on one lap or the other, because the way they came out, or the way the field got mixed up, it really was thrown into a blender. You know, doing the quote-unquote undercut helped that first group that came in. It seems like everyone just kind of slotted in naturally.
I may or may not have heard something there, which I wonder if that could mean he's lost the draft?
Well,
or is there a problem?
Who's the he, the guy we're presently on board with?
That would be correct.
Well, I mean, you can see he's very much not part of that initial draft right now, so he may well have lost it.
And I mean, again, though, this only does determine the rest of the starting lineup for the GTR 250, but you have to remember, too, the top 5 in each dual race gets points that will be totaled into the championship points. 1st through 5th are going to get, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 points, respectively. And so right now, Magram, Higginbottom, Belmonte, Mercado, and Hurdle are all currently in spots that could reward them a couple points that could very well be a factor towards their championship runs when the regular season comes around, as now there's 11 laps to go here in Duel 1, with a bit of almost a 3-car breakaway for Magram, Higginbottom, and Belmonte, and then you got about a 4-car double file pack going at it here. Mercado, Hurdle, Bins, and Darcy Ford. McCauley now 11 seconds back, Janikowski 15, Kyle's at almost 20.
Yeah, you're in praying for incident territory. Because as I say, a smaller field, you don't have as many opportunities to catch up, not as many people you can kind of tag along with to try and build up some momentum to get back to this main pack. And obviously, not as much time to do it either.
And we got to remember, too, as well, if we flash back to the Daytona regular season finale last year, that last green flag pit window separated a lot of guys to quite the extent, and then we all know what happened, or most of us will recall the little incident in the tri-oval.
Little incident, yeah. It's like saying I could afford to lose a little weight.
Yeah, about the equivalent.
Yep, pretty much. Just go with it.
10 laps to go here in duel number 1. C.D. Magram leading the way. He's led 7 laps in this one so far. Higginbottom's led 3, Belmonte 0, Mercado 0, Ford 0. Bins has led 2, Hurdle's led 3, McCauley at 0, Janikowski at 0, and then Kyle Knoll at 0. So again, they're all single file together, but with these next-gen cars, they could easily get back into a pack at any given point, regardless of how many cars are there. And that's why I gotta say right now, Magram is not even close to the winner of this thing yet.
Well, it's kind of the similar philosophy to what we were experiencing in what we previously called the dark series in 250. If you're leading going into that last lap or two, you're almost a sitting duck. So it's going to be very interesting to see how CD Magram can defend. Yes, he's got his Tornado Alley mate and Ty Higginbotham right there behind him, but ultimately it's going to be every man for themselves here, and it starts right now with these duels.
Indeed, and again, trying to think about the resume of all these guys, you got CD Magram, who's got multiple super speedway wins in between his 2 seasons of NASCAR racing so far. Almost got another one again to start off his 3rd, quote unquote, unofficially. Then you got Ty Higginbotham again, who's won here before, 2022 champion as well. Justin Belmonte, the defending GTR 250 champion. Jose Mercado, another fast and aggressive guy that again has shown flashes of potential on the bigger tracks. Darcy Ford won the Season 2 Daytona season opener. He was also again, like you said way earlier back in single car qualifying, he was a helpful factor en route to his championship that season as well. Andy Hurdle, who again won the pole for next week's GTR 250. Trevor Binns, who looked to have some good speed there in single car qualifying. Corbin McCauley, another longtime veteran there who hasn't had much luck on the super speedways throughout his whole career. And again, unless back in the NASCAR Heat 5 era, he may have gotten 1 or 2. Tom Janikowski, another fast guy who's been more so an underdog, who occasionally gets the top 5 or top 10 finishes on these tracks. And then another guy in Kyle Knoll, who hasn't had the greatest luck on the bigger tracks, but man, he very much could be a winner at any given point.
Yeah, I think that's a fairly accurate analysis. I don't know necessarily about this duel at this point, but overall, I absolutely agree with the assessment. But I also kind of want to echo your point, even though we're getting into the final couple laps of this duel here now. Nothing is guaranteed here. We'll see when these guys decide to start pushing, is what I was looking to say there.
Seven cars in that single file train down the back straightaway with 5 laps to go. Anything is possible at any given point. I mean, back at the Atlanta Clash last week, CD Magram and Hunter Young, only 2 cars going at it together, but Young did have a little bit of help from lap cars. Young going into turn 1 on that final lap, he pulled back and he got a massive run on Magram going down the backstretch. And those that were tuned in last week know what happened when he got that run, and they tangled. So at any given point here, we could see something similar happen here. So I think Higginbotham might have done something like that. Although again, if you're going full throttle in between and you're stuck in between cars here, you want to make sure that your temperatures don't get too high, and you don't want to end up running over somebody. So it's just a matter of timing here. So we're getting a couple moves to the high side. That's going to be pair of 6s there, plus the 4 and 4, but Ford's actually going to chop off, cross over Belmonte, and then take his spot in 3rd. So Belmonte's going to drop back now to... Or he's going to try to squeeze in. No, he's not going to be able to. Hurdle's going to be able to hang on to that inside line spot, as now we're at 3 laps to go here in duel number 1. The top 2 still remain unchanged, but Darcy Ford looking to make his way up. And then Mercado and Binns are just kind of sneakily waiting to potentially make a move.
And I mean, that's kind of the name of the game anytime you're at Daytona, is patience being that ultimate virtue here, as it looks like Janikowski and Knoll finally linked up. Yeah.
That could also play a factor in this finish here if they're able to catch up to them. Belmonte and Hurdle still side by side back there for the 6th spot.
And I mean, a pack of 7 trying to catch a duo within 3 laps, I'd put money on it. So
the number 1 Nordic Aluminum Toyota leading the way over the teammate in Higginbottom, pair of Tornado Alley guys. I wonder if it may sound familiar. I mean, you know how Team Penske is at Daytona, Hendrick Motorsports at Daytona, 2021, or what year would it have been? The 2021 Daytona 500 finish. Remember when Team Penske collided on that final lap with Joey Logano and Brad Keselowski? It looks like Jose Mercado had a bit of a loose moment down the back straightaway. He's able to save it down on the apron in turn 3. But here we come. White flag in the air for duel number 1 for Higginbottom and Magram. As Trevor Binns is going to go to the high side against Darcy Ford. In for the middle 3 wide. Binns is going to get turned. And Kyle Knowles down the apron. We stay green. So don't know if that might have been a rookie mistake there or an aggressive move by someone else. We'll have to look back later on. But we're still green. Belmonte to the high side. Mercado's going to look to push. Magram and Higginbottom are going to be going at it, and we got a lap car in front of them.
And I think there was even a little bit of a touch between Magram and Higginbottom there as well, as Belmonte's just snaking his way through, just avoiding Janikowski.
Oh, man. Oh, they're going to crash. A bunch of cars are going to go around as Janikowski made the block. There's a lap car. Justin Belmonte, the defending GTR 250 champion, will get the win in the Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue Daytona duel number 1.
Yeah, I hate to say it felt almost inevitable, but it was too calm, wasn't it? For the most part.
That's why I was saying, we were talking about like 7 cars in a pack together, knowing how the next gen is at these tracks. Plus, you got a couple lap cars in there.
Yeah. And I mean, we called that something was going to happen there. Like, again, the pack of 7 just ready to swallow up those last 2 there, Janikowski and Knoll. Not that, any fault or malice is being ascribed in that situation, but it just felt like, chaos was going to reign supreme, ultimately. As, what else would be new for Daytona, right?
Nothing.
Exactly.
And I guess we might as well take a look at a replay here of that whole final lap. Starting off with the 33 of Trevor Binns. Yeah, he and Darcy Ford got together there. Hurdle tried to squeeze through the middle 3 wide. Maybe a racing incident there. Hard to say, but obviously not an unfortunate situation for the rookie and Trevor Binns, who had been running a pretty clean race and was right up there ready to contend for the victory. And then, of course, some stuff happens here down the backstretch. Belmonte makes a move. The Tornado Alley guys get chopped off there. Mercado tries to get around all of them. And then Janikowski kind of blocking the way here. Magram goes for a little tap there to get him out of the way instead of getting around him. And then, what do you know, carnage happens.
Well,
what was that move from Andy Hurdle?
Yeah, not 100%.
Cleared the way.
I mean, that's one way of looking at it. Got himself 4 points plus the pole position.
And so here are your unofficial results here for the first duel here tonight. Justin Belmonte, the number 6 Ford, will continue the Daytona momentum from last year and visit victory lane once again. So that's going to lock him in the 3rd spot for the 250 next week. So right on the bottom of that starting lineup podium, Andy Hurdle, C.D. Magram, Darcy Ford, and Ty Higginbottom will round out the top 5. Trevor Binns in 6th, Jose Mercado 7th, Corbin McCauley in 8th, Tom Janikowski 9th, and then Kyle Knowles going to round out this 10-car field here. So this means that Belmonte starts 3rd, Hurdle 5th, Magram 7th, Ford 9th, Higginbottom 11th, Binns 13th, Mercado 15th, McCauley 17th, Janikowski 19th, and Kyle Knoll will be 21st.
Well, minus the part about Hurdle having pole secured.
Okay, other than that, yeah, actually.
So, Yeah, we'll subtract 2 from all of the others. So it'll be Belmonte 3rd, Mangrum 5th, Ford 7th,
Okay,
Hagee
yeah,
9th.
there we go.
And Ben's got ahead of Mercado at the line. Let me flip that on my little chart that I had.
Did he?
Well, that's what your board said. I thought I had it the other way around. We'll get the official results after the fact.
Huh.
Or are we... Okay,
Maybe I'll...
so I was going to say, that would be no small miracle given, he's alone.
Okay, we'll completely ignore what I just said there. We'll completely ignore that.
Yeah, we'll sort this out soon enough.
And so, with all that being said, that was duel number 1. We're going to take a quick break here, and we will be back for duel number 2 action, where Mike Marini will lead the field to green and, again, try to, have some more speed and maybe come out of tonight with both a front row spot in the GTR 250. I mean, it's already locked up, but add into that, maybe get an extra 5 points on the season, and with a dual win. So, yeah, actually, you know what? Come to think about it, with the unofficial results, the way we played it out there was actually the drivers that are going to be getting the points towards championship. So,
indeed so.
So we'll be back in just a little bit. Stay tuned. That was duel number 1, Justin Belmonte, and the number 6 getting the victory. The defending GTR 250 champion, starting season 5 on a high note so far. We'll be back soon. Alrighty then, folks. Welcome back here to Daytona International Speedway for more live coverage of Canadian Motorsports Network NASCAR Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue action. More qualifying event action per se. Single car qualifying earlier, obviously, with Andy Hurdle qualifying on pole for next week's 5th annual GTR 250, plus also Mike Marini locking up a front row spot in second. And also coming off the first of 2 dual races here tonight, where Justin Belmonte, the defending GTR 250 champion, got the job done and was a wreckfest of a final lap. And so now we get to duel number 2. And so beginning here on the front row, we have the number 12, as I said, the Toyota Mike Marini locking up second place, starting the starting lineup for the GTR 250. He still will want to come away with a potential 5 points to him in the championship points standings. Obviously, a dual win here. And then alongside him, we got the number 10 Chevrolet, fellow veteran Jason Butler. And now moving on to row 2, where we have a pair of rookies who were, again, if you flip them here based on where they are on the screen, the top 2 from the Atlanta Clash last week, it is the number 9 Toyota of Jason Heaney and the number 00 Toyota Jordan Collini, and both rookies who have been very fast on the big tracks so far.
And we move on to row number 3, where the number 21 Toyota of Adam Wilson rounds out the top 5. He'll be joined by another Toyota in the form of the number 80 of Mark Ouellette on the outside. He'll start 6th. On to row 4 now, where we got the number 16 Chevy of Ryan O'Toole. He'll start 7th, along with the number 77 Ford of Hunter Young starting in 8th. And since there's only one car left, I may as well take it. Row 5, bringing up the rear here is the number 32 Chevy of Charlie Sears, but with all the movement we saw in Duel 1 and a little bit more unpredictability with, some of the drivers that we haven't seen a whole lot of, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a similar amount of movement in Duel number 2 as well. Anything goes.
Quick race analysis, so we're just going to do it once again after Duel 1. There's no stages. There's none. Pit road speed is certainly not 200 miles per hour. Fuel window might be around last 14 to 16, as we saw in duel number 1. So, 30 laps of racing once again. Green flag in the air for duel number 2. Mike Marini leading the way.
And got off to an absolutely great start there, as a matter of fact. But again, given the size of the field, it's I'd be surprised to see him get swallowed up straight away. And that's pretty much what's happened.
Indeed it is. So Jason Butler getting the run up on the high side. Could be double file for him about first on back to begin here. We'll wait and see if these guys will get a single file train going on the inside to kind of log in maybe the first half of this race. But again, if we compare the variety of drivers between the Duel 1 and Duel 2 lineups, Duel 1 has a lot of proven names and veterans in there. Guys like C.D. Mangrum, Ty Higginbottom, Corbin McCauley, Darcy Ford. In this, you got more of a mixture of some veteran underdogs who are pretty fast on the big tracks, but still have yet to have maybe a little bit better luck. And then this is just filled with rookies. Heaney, Collini, who was last week's Atlanta Clash winner, Adam Wilson, Mark Ouellette, Ryan O'Toole, and Charlie Sears as well. There's only three NASCAR Series veterans compared to 7 rookies in this field.
Yeah, and I think that bit of unpredictability there is that's just going to make this second duel even more entertaining. Yeah, one less car, but, all the more opportunities.
So again, a little bit of separation going now is a bit of a 5-car breakaway as... We got Jason Butler and Hunter Young almost all a file there, but just barely going to sneak into the inside line. There is Hunter Young. Now we got the single file train going at here on lap 3 in duel number 2 with Mike Marini, Jason Heaney, and Adam Wilson leading the way. So Butler falling back to 7th. But again, as you said earlier, Jordy, with how duel 1 went and that chaotic of a finish, zero surprise whatsoever. Anything's on the table here, and again, too, with points being awarded to the top 5 drivers, and knowing there's only 9 cars in this field, there's only one less Yeah, sure, just one less compared to duel number 1, but that's going to make it all the more competitive for some only less guys to go for just 5 spots.
Absolutely true, and I mean, this is the guys who are in the field for the first time this season. This is an opportunity to make a little bit of a statement here too. Like, yeah, we'll be looking at, you know, eventual Rookie of the Year competitions and things like that as we go along. But again, this is sort of the first opportunity to fire a bit of a shot toward the rest of the field, saying, you know what, I'm here, I'm ready to race, this is my intent, let's go.
Almost 20 people watching the broadcast here so far, so we'd like to thank each and every one of you that has tuned in here tonight. Looks like we got support here for, but we did have support for Trevor back in duel number 1. Someone cheering on Higginbottom. And then there's Butler and Roulette for this duel. Yeah, there's a couple of fans for, we got, you know, Butler, Roulette, Trevor's in there. Trevor Binns. So those 3 guys in particular got quite an audience here.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wouldn't be surprised if a couple extras came from Duel 1 to watch this, to, you know, scout out a little bit of the competition, shall we say.
Perhaps.
But, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see that, see what you can pick up. And I mean, it's just a good night of honest racing here as well.
Indeed it is, and might as well also give a shout out to some of the sponsors here that help us operate here at the Canadian Motorsports Network. Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue, obviously, as the title sponsor for the NASCAR Series. Rampage Coffee Co., Piping Kettle Soup, Forked River Brewing Company, Bangarang Hard Seltzer, Nordic Aluminum, GSGSG Vinyl 3D, GTR, the team, and also partner with us. And then TrackHams22.com, which provide us here with these amazing professional broadcast cameras that really help to emphasize what we've got going here at the Canadian Motorsports Network after the incredibly painful days of being on a PlayStation 4 console with, I think you might agree with this, one of the greatest NASCAR games of all time.
I mean, is it opposite day? Like... April 4th isn't for another 3 weeks, so it's not that.
And it's on a Monday, and then we have Tuesday right after.
True. Yeah, no, there's, you know, some debate on that. I guess the best thing we could say, oh, someone went into the wall there, actually.
I believe that was Hunter Young.
Yeah, went for the entirely early Chastain there, it would appear. Just got a little too comfortable up there on that high line. And yeah, he was running on his own here. Just a little bit of a kiss off of it here somewhere. But he's managed to rejoin that line.
Weather still remaining relatively the same here, mostly cloudy conditions, but just over 20 degrees track temperature under the lights. A double file from about 5th on back. Top 4 single file for sure. Mike Marini still has led the way. 8 laps led now, here on lap 9 now. Ontario native again qualifying 2nd for the GTR 250, but again looking to have a pretty successful night, not only have that front row spot locked up for next week, but also maybe be able to get an extra 5 points towards the championship with a duel victory in go figure duel number 2.
And I mean, Mikey, we were talking about Darcy Ford a little bit earlier in terms of making that iRacing adjustment. It hit Mike Marini pretty hard too. I think he'd be the first to say that, because first 3 seasons he was consistently in the playoff picture, almost always a threat to win on the heat side of things, as much as we like to make fun of and malign that particular game, Marini was there in the fight. But yeah, last year, obviously it took a very different turn, and he very nearly made the playoffs after, eventually the luck of that final Daytona race didn't quite go his way. But he's a guy that I'm sure is looking for a bounce back here in season 5.
So currently in the last spot right now, just kind of following in behind this pack is the number 80 of Mark Ouellette. Just kind of waiting things out here with 20 laps to go in duel number 2, sponsored by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue. Butler and Kalinian trying to make something happen there on the high side, but they more than likely will end up squeezing into this inside line train here. Or maybe not. They're going to make a run for it. Maybe.
I was going to say, I think things might start getting interesting here, too, if they follow the same pattern as we did in the opening duel with the pit window opening in about 3 or 4 laps. We'll see if anyone opts to try and do things a little bit differently here in this second duel.
After what seemed like a bit of a wall tap there towards the back, the lap or two ago, as Ryan O'Toole squeezing in front of Charlie Sears there. There's a little bit of a moment there on down the back stretch, but looks all to be good now. But as I was saying, Milton seemed to get into the wall there in turn 1 a couple laps back, but now he's made his way all the way up to 4th, so I don't even know if maybe he even tapped the wall at all. It might have been a little bit of a scrunch or something like that, but doesn't look like anything really happened at all, because he's now all the way back up here, leading the way in front of a small pack. Still trailing in behind the top 3, which features 2 rookies, including a second place finisher back at Atlanta, and then Adam Wilson, who qualified second, but then technical issues took him out of contention, literally right at the start. As there's some side draft there from Jason Butler. Never mind. We got cars coming down the pit road with 18 laps remaining. Maybe a little earlier than Duel 1.
Yeah, a couple laps earlier, and roughly the same breakdown here. 6 in, 3 on track. It was 6 in the main group in Duel 1 as well. And yeah, we'll have to imagine it's probably just splash and dash here at this point. And Sears is dashing. He's going to grab a couple of positions here, it looks like. Yeah, I think Sears is first out of pit lane.
So not too shabby there from the 2023 IndyCar champion, making his debut in the NASCAR Series. So he jumps all the way up here to the front. Is now going to have a couple more cars coming down. That's Jason Heaney, Jason Butler, and Mark Ouellette.
That'd be the remainder of the field. That'd be a reactionary pit stop.
So quick stops for Heaney and Butler. Ouellette, on the other hand, is going to be a little bit behind them. May hope for a caution if he loses the draft. Yeah, there's that other pack.
Yeah, there they go. He's going to have to get up to speed quickly if he wants to hang around.
So there goes the 3-car train that's going to get by Jason Heaney for the race lead. So give the race lead now to the number 32 of Charlie Sears, with Adam Wilson and Jordan Kalinian right in behind. It is a top 3 filled with rookies here. Heaney in 4th. Butler leading the way over Hunter Young. Or Marini leading the way over Young and Butler. So, the only 3 veterans in this one are together, unless hopefully Butler doesn't lose the draft, though.
Yeah, this next lap or two is going to be very important for Jason Butler to stay in this one. I think might be a little bit of a lost cause here potentially for O'Toole and Ouellette since they're in double digits. But, I mean, we saw craziness happen at the end of Duel 1. Why not have it again on the other side?
Looking in the comments here, too, one comment in particular, the Toyotas are fast this season. That is absolutely true, both from the veteran and rookie side. I mean, again, with you got C.D. Mangrum and Ty Higginbottom up front pretty much the entirety of Duel 1, and then here in Duel 2 you have Adam Wilson and Jordan Kalinian going at it. And then I believe Heaney is also a Toyota.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, that is a Toyota, and so is Mike Marini as well. So yeah,
yes, he is.
The Toyotas are certainly showing the speed here so far, especially again being a new Toyota Camry as well that was introduced in real life for the NASCAR Series. There was also for Ford as well, but Toyota absolutely dominated at Phoenix in real life with Christopher Bell getting the win by a massive margin over. Well, not massive, but just a decent margin over the rest of the field. But again, like Joe Gibbs Racing, 2311 Racing, they all pretty much dominated that one. And so far, we're seeing a lot of speed here from the Toyotas as it looks as though Sears dropping back in behind Wilson Kalinian, new race leader. Wonder if those two up front there might have worked together to get around him.
Yeah, I mean, you could see potentially the trio together, although Sears is probably a little bit further back than he'd like, although, yeah, no, he's catching that right back up. So I'd say these three are probably looking to separate themselves a little bit. It's almost kind of working in threes all the way around. Like, honestly, 4 through 6, they may have a tough time catching this lead trio.
So yeah, 2 3-car packs separated by just well over 5 seconds. And then meanwhile, all the way back here, you got Ryan O'Toole, Mark Ouellette, and Jason Butler hanging out. Yeah, it's 3 3-car packs together. All 9 cars separated in their own little packs. So, again, with how Duel 1 went, are we going to see another repeat, except with more cars from the Atlanta Clash finish?
Maybe. It's obviously a little bit different in that Duel 1 was a pack of 7 catching a pair at the very end. The 3-3-3 separation is obviously a different dynamic, but yeah, we'll have to see if these three are just able to kind of separate themselves further. And okay, there's an interesting observation.
They might not have enough fuel if they left it in auto.
That'll be an interesting development here.
Indeed, it'll be interesting. Again, there still is 11 laps to go, so anything's possible. We saw in Duel 1 where we had that Wreckfest finish. I don't know, maybe Duel 2 is a case of where we see fuel mileage.
I mean, different ways to get the job done, right? So,
well, yes, actually, you know what? Mercado makes a good point. A lot of the, like, these top three here, I think Sears especially, maybe Wilson Kalinian as well, but I know Sears especially, very fast pit stops. Very fast.
Yeah, I mean, 30 laps, like, obviously, you're thinking, like...
Oh, wait. Did something just happen?
Okay, O'Toole into the grass.
A bad... Oh, man, Butler.
Ooh.
Contact into the wall twice.
Oh.
Breaks the front end.
Yeah, that's not an amazing look there. We'll just have to see. Like, it didn't seem like there was any movement or an overtake. Eesh.
There we go. Come on. There we go. We got one more here. This will work. Okay, what is this doing? There we go. Stay.
Let's just see here. And yeah, it looked like there was a bump there, certainly. Now, this might give us a more definitive angle to see if maybe there was net code involved. Don't think so, though. I think there was pure contact. Let's see. There's the approach again.
Yeah, that's a bad bump.
Yeah. And yeah, that'll obviously end O'Toole's night there, or thoughts of getting beyond 18th on the grid.
So that'll all the more likely mean that just judging by what this is looking like right now, again, Marini will be locked into second. Wilson 4th, Kalinian 6th, Sears 8th, Young 10th, Heaney 12th, Ouellette 14th, Butler 16th, and then O'Toole 8th. I think that's how it would go. Something like that.
Yeah, so I say right now, like, O'Toole would start 18th. As you say, Marini's locked into second. So yeah, Wilson would be 4th, Kalinian 6th, Sears 8th, then Young 10th, Heaney 12th, Butler 14th, Ouellette 16th.
And that is if this were to end the way it would right now, but
precisely.
Yes. With 6 laps to go, though, anything's possible. Again, we got Adam Wilson, who qualified second in the Clash last week, but then had to he wasn't even able to complete the race due to issues. So he'll look to definitely rebound and show off what speed he truly has. Kalinian's coming off an Atlanta Clash win where he was on the complete other side of the track of the leaders, but now he's right in behind the race leader, so maybe he'll try to, who knows, show off some rookie aggressiveness. And then you got the number 32 at Charlie Sears, who was pretty fast as well. Got caught up in some stuff, unfortunately. And we remember how much success he had back again in Season 3 of IndyCars, particularly on the ovals as well. Especially, it was Iowa, one of the Iowa twin races.
Yeah, I think that might have been a week where I was unavailable, but I certainly recall the result being very dominant. Now, we'll have to see if what's been spoken about in the YouTube chat regarding some guys needing maybe to run a little lean here at the end. We'll see if that actually comes to fruition, especially Sears. You see him hanging back. There's we're down to, I believe that's going to go down to 4 laps remaining. There it goes.
Yep.
Yeah, it'll be, I can actually see it a little better. Go figure.
There's no potatoes, no potato quality.
No, we've improved a little bit. Yeah, we'll have to see just how this will shake out. I mean, strategically, you'd have to think Sears can figure it out. I mean, he started this duel at the very back of the field, if you recall. So for him to be in this position, he said there'd be a lot of movement, but it's ultimately played out in that fashion. But we've seen obviously separation throughout the field here as we're down to 3 laps.
So yeah, the last year's IndyCar champion just kind of waiting impatiently in behind 2 fellow rookies in front of him. It looked like there was a little bit of catching up that the pack behind them was doing, but then kind of right back to that 8-second margin. And again, we were talking about the potential fuel situation with these guys is, whoa, we got to move for the race lead. Jordan Kalinian to the high side. He's going to look to try and get in front of Wilson.
But that might give Sears the opportunity to push Wilson on that inside line a little bit. And Kalinian appears to have lost out a little bit, at least for now.
Or, again, a situation that I could potentially visualize is second and third place both work together to get past the top guy, and then they decide to battle.
Sears is slow.
Sears is out. I think Sears might be out of fuel.
Yeah.
Yeah, that pit stop. I mean, I mentioned that pit stop was extremely fast.
Yeah, and he's going to just slide all the way down the field here. So, well called in the YouTube chat.
And so we now have the white flag out here. We're going to be side by side for the race lead. Never mind, Kalinian's
going to... Are we, though?
Yeah, we were for a couple seconds there. Kalinian going to take the race lead. The Atlanta Clash winner looking to win 2 weeks in a row. And maybe, I don't know, that momentum heading into the GTR 250 would be something. As big block on Adam Wilson to the high side. They're going to be side by side once again for the race lead. Adam Wilson's now
time melting.
Wilson's now going to clear Kalinian, but that might have been bad timing because now the zero might make a run here on the 21 coming off a turn 4. 2018 Martinsville finish vibes. Here they come to the start finish line. Will the zero be able to get a run? No, he won't. Adam Wilson will take the second duel.
Looks like he had just enough there at the end to make that happen, those two, because again, you saw how quickly that gap, Marini, Young, and Heaney, that was just disappearing like, butter melting in a microwave.
So the number 21 of Adam Wilson, the rookie, goes from qualifying second in last week's Clash and not even being able to do the race to this week. Fast in single car qualifying, at least if I recall, if he was, and then gets the win here in duel number 2. Or actually, yeah, he qualified 5th through duel 2, so I guess maybe technically not too fast, but able to find some resurgence there. Hunter Young giving a bit of a congrats to the number 21.
So, yeah, I think another half a lap, and you see Wilson and Kalinian getting absolutely swallowed up by the rest of the field there, too.
And so we look at the unofficial results here for the second duel. The number 21 of Adam Wilson getting the victory. Again, for the rest of the way, got to be careful because of back in duel 1, we had I think we may have had a couple weird moments there, but again, by the looks of it, Jordan Kalinian second, that is accurate. Mike Marini was able to lead the way for Hunter Young and Jason Heaney in a 3-car pack between 3rd and 5th. But again, Marini finished 3rd, but he still locks up that second spot in the GTR 250 next week. Mark Ouellette, Jason Butler, Charlie Sears, and Ryan O'Toole rounding out the rest of the field. So Mike Marini, out of this duel, Mike Marini will start 2nd, Adam Wilson 4th, Jordan Kalinian 6th, Hunter Young 8th, Jason Heaney 10th, Ouellette 12th, Butler 14th, Sears 16th, and Ryan O'Toole in 18th. And so that will be the outside line for next week's 5th annual GTR 250. Again, barring some other guys that weren't able to make it here tonight for single car qualifying and the Daytona duels, like Mason Tomlinson is one guy I can think of for sure. Like, there will be other guys that will definitely extend the field out and have some bigger numbers, but Jordy, the best I can say here is that we just witnessed 2 races there with only 10 and 9 cars, but next week we're going to be getting our first race with potentially up to 23 cars.
Absolutely right, and it's felt like a long time coming, hasn't it? Just the way things have been going. I mean, you knew I had to do something here for the duels, right? Maybe a little late on that one, but you get the idea. But yeah, I think once we finally get the full group together, and now that we're into territory where, points are on the line, things actually have meaning now. It's, I think, just going to ratchet up the action that much more. And, Daytona for a season opener, if that's not on a driver's bucket list, like, what's the point of even being here, right? So I expect you're going to see guys go absolutely all out to, again, try and make that statement, and we'll see who locks up that first spot in the playoffs, just gets it done right out of the chute.
And yeah, knowing so far who is on the roster for Season 5 of the NASCAR Series, only 2 previous winners at Daytona are still active, or at least of the 250, the season opener, are still active within this series. Again, Darcy Ford won it back in 2022, Justin Belmonte winning it last year. And then there are some reports of potentially another guy, but again, we'll have to wait on that. But yeah, again, coming at it tonight, Andy Hurdle and Mike Marini locking up the 2 front spots for the 250, and then dual wins coming from Justin Belmonte, the defending GTR 250 champion, and then Adam Wilson gets the victory in duel number 2. So there's a lot of momentum between a couple veterans and a couple of rookies, which again, knowing some of the names in particular struggled in the transition to iRacing last season, we may be in for something very interesting with a bunch of drivers that built up plenty of important experience from Season 4. Jordy, there's no doubt that next week will be the very beginning of something special for the 5th season of NASCAR racing here within the Canadian Motorsports Network. And again, with the variety of veterans and the crop of rookies coming in, especially ones from the DART IndyCar Series as well, buckle the hell up.
I mean, I couldn't have said it any better. I think, any kind of gap or learning curve that we saw in Season 4, I think tonight proved everyone's right back at square one now. And yeah, Season 5, it's always hyperbole to suggest, oh, this is going to be the best season yet. This is going to be the best season yet. I think, there's no hyperbole. I think this is legit. Like, this is going to be, a season that I think you'll be able to put up against just about any other series in, this particular sphere here. So I'm looking forward to all this.
We all are. The drivers are. Both of us are. Everybody is. So with all that being said, that does it for the live coverage here for tonight's action for the Canadian Motorsports Network NASCAR Series, powered by Kyle's Fried Chicken and Barbecue. The single car qualifying, Andy Hurdle gets the GTR 250 pole for next week. Mike Marini second. Justin Belmonte and Adam Wilson claiming dual wins and 5 points each. That will count towards their total points in the regular season championship, of course. So stay tuned to our social media pages, obviously, for more updates and the official starting lineup for next week's 5th annual GTR 250, which will begin broadcasting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, 8:30 p.m. Atlantic here on the YouTube channel. So on behalf of everyone here at the network, myself, Regan McCauley, and then on the other side, Jordy Carraher, has been here since the very beginning. If only I was still on the faces to get that visual there.
Yeah, just call it the iPhone reactions. I think that's what happened. Don't know why it was balloons.
Yeah, your hand, you're doing kind of a woohoo cheering thing with your arms there.
Peace out.
Yeah, peace out too. But yeah, on behalf of everyone here, along with partners with the network as well, we'd like to thank each and every one of you for tuning into tonight's exciting action. It's going to get all the more exciting next week. We begin a new season of NASCAR racing here on iRacing within the Canadian Motorsports Network. The 5th annual GTR 250 at Daytona International Speedway will get the new season underway next week, Tuesday, March 19th. You will not want to miss any of that action. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. We'll see you all next week for the beginning of something special.